So the only thing, the little breakthrough I did was the other day when I was watching Meredith. Remember I told you, I don't know if you're watching her, Meredith Phillips. She was talking about like working on the second draft of a story. And it gave me this idea that in order to go back to Alexi's story, which is what I want to do, I need to start treating it as if it were the first draft. Like I need to forget all the edits I've done, all the work I've done, and just look at it as if it was the first draft. And I'm not happy. I'm not quite happy with it, and it's nowhere near finished. And I'm just looking at it as the base of the story, but like the story itself is not told yet. So this is my plan, like to get into this mentality, to start working on that again. Good morning, it's June 3rd, and I think this will be my last vlog before the trip. So I just want to give you a quick update on what I've decided to do with my projects this year. And as you can see in the little montage that was in the beginning of this vlog, I was talking about going back to the original project and focusing on that. But what I realized yesterday is that I still want to work on it, but I do not want to focus on it entirely. I've decided, and this is great that I have a writing group, I've decided that I will be workshopping the written story, the previous story, as a part of my writing group. So every month I will be submitting one chapter, and this will give me a steady pace of working on it, on revising it, and at the same time I will be hearing feedback to it as it progresses. And what we do in the writing group, since a lot of us are working on books, we are giving people a little bit of a context write-up. So we tell them what happened in previous chapter, because even if they were attending the previous month, they probably have forgotten something about the story, and some of them are new every time. And so we always write a little note, several paragraphs or one paragraph or something, like this is what happened before and this is what's going to happen in this chapter. And so this way I can keep people updated on what was already written. But the good part is that with that previous story, I think most of them read the opening chapter, and I also think I might have even workshopped it twice, because it existed in different kind of shapes throughout the revisions process. And so they are aware how the story starts, and I still wrote a little like note for them. But basically we are still in the very beginning, because what I'll be submitting this month is the second chapter, which is now told from the second main character's perspective, from Ivan's perspective. And so this will be new to all of them. I'm excited to hear what they gotta say, and today I'll be working on getting this chapter ready. I read through it yesterday. Right away I spotted a couple of places where I didn't quite like the words I chose. Overall, I'm happy with the way this chapter introduces our second main character, but then again, they might have a different opinion on that. We'll see, because there are quite a lot of secondary characters in this chapter. In the first one, we only meet 4 characters. Like, yeah. So the main character, his family, and this character, the second main character, who is only mentioned in passing. And so in this chapter, the second, gosh, this is getting so confusing. In this chapter, the second main character has a big family that he's traveling with. And so there are a lot of people, a lot of names, and a lot of things going on. So I wonder how they're going to feel about that. But also in general, are they going to like dig it, you know, and just feel it the way it is? We'll see. So that being said, the main project of this year is going to be the Project Bug. I am excited to write the first draft of this project. So I feel so much relief now that I've decided on this particular pattern of work. So focusing on drafting Project Bug, and hopefully I'll get beyond drafting by the end of this year, while slowly working on revising the Red Fox story. So very excited to finally have a plan. I feel like I've been on this like seesaw of decision making for so long, and now that I decided this, I can envision it. I can envision myself working quite a lot on both now that I feel confident in my choice. So with that being said, today we are working on getting the second chapter of Project Fox ready for the writing group. Look at these. I have had these plants for a while, but I've never seen them bloom. They've never bloomed before. These are so cute. They look like little stars. I love it. Anyways, I'm done with preparing my chapter for submission. It took me longer than I thought. It took me like a whole hour, if not more. Let me just send it to myself so I can add it to our submission list. Okay, chapter 2, writing group sub. Here we go. Okay, all right. So I did change a couple of things. I don't know, there was some things that I didn't quite love the way they were worded, but then again, like depending on people's feedback, there might be multiple revisions of the text itself, so it doesn't quite make sense to spend a lot of time on language just yet because there might be developmental edits that are still needed. But in this chapter, I am introducing, I'm kind of I'm not unveiling the central conflict, the central internal conflict that my second character, the one who we focus on in this chapter, has, but I'm hinting at it. I'm hinting there's something going on and there's some inner turmoil. I'm also introducing an outward conflict with a cousin that he has, and otherwise I'm just introducing the setting, the family, the magical quest that they're all working on, and I am also connecting. Remember when I talked to you about writing this chapter, this is the first and probably the only time, we'll see, when I have those characters see each other and like interact in the same scene, and we get both point of views on that instance. That is probably something I won't really do much, if at all, except for these first two chapters. But in these first two chapters, it was very important for them to touch each other in terms of like storylines, for storylines to touch each other, so that we can continue with their personal journeys and how they intertwine. So basically, I've just, you know, cleaned up this chapter, and I want to see if they connect with, basically, like in the beginning of the second chapter, my main character is kind of fine. He's been bugged by his cousin, but he's not like very angry. He's kind of enjoying the experience, and by the end of the second chapter, he's really angry. And so I want to see if the readers will feel like it came out of nowhere, or if they would feel this slow buildup of tension that led him to be angry at the end. So we'll see. And also I'm thinking, because I'm going on a trip for basically the second half of June, the entire second half of June. And that means when I come back home, I need to have the submission ready for our July meetup, which probably means, because I don't want to work on this one on the trip, I want to work on Project Bug during the trip. So it probably means I will need to either prepare it, the third chapter, before I go, which I don't know if I'll be able to because there's so many things to take care of before I go. Or the second option is just to make it my focus when I come back. And when I come back, I will have a couple of days to myself before going back to work. So maybe that's not such a bad idea. I'll just need to check the dates and make sure like I have enough time before I need to submit it. But if I do, then I'll just work on the third chapter in July instead of June. I cannot remember where we left off. It is possible that I told you I would be working on Project Bug next time you see me, but that's not true. Today is the last day I'll be vlogging before I leave on my trip. So today I've decided I'll be working on the July submission of Red Fox Inn. I think last time I saw you, I was working on the previous submission, and I did submit that to the group, so they're reading it right now, and I'll be hearing their feedback soon. But then I'll be gone on my trip, and during my trip I'll be working on Project Bug. So I want to make sure my July submission is ready, because when I come back, it's going to be time to share it right away. So I could like, really hurry up and do it after I come back, but I don't want to. I don't want to be stressed by it, and I just want to be done with it and know that the July submission is ready and I can focus on my trip and on Project Bug. So that's what I'll be doing today. I also wanted to show you if you guys remember, did I talk to you about the old like Christmas tree? I think I did. Anyways, I did remove the old tree and I have finally planted some new plants on my balcony, so I'm going to show you that. I did also plant some things outside, but I'm not going to go out and film that. So I'm just going to show you what I have on my balcony, because that really makes me very happy when I look at it. Of course, I did it right before I leave, but then when I come back in July, hopefully my plants are still alive and happy, and I'll be enjoying them for the rest of the summer. So the things I planted outside of my house are perennials, but since I have this garden bed and sometimes I change my mind on what I want to have in it, sometimes I have vegetables, sometimes I have flowers, I've decided to just plant annuals here. So this is a bunch of different annuals in the garden bed. And in this, I've been having those wildflowers for a while. I planted a mix of them. They used to hold hydrangeas actually, but then the hydrangeas died, and I just planted some wildflower seeds here and also here. And I just let them be overall, and I hope the local insects enjoy them. And then these are the new guys I planted in place of the tree that died. So this is again annual, but this one is perennial. It's actually catmint, which I've read is kind of similar to catnip in a way. My cat definitely enjoyed the smell of it. I rubbed a little bit of it for him to smell, and he seemed to enjoy it. I don't know if I would be comfortable with him eating it, but I think he enjoys the smell. So I am pretty happy with the way it looks. I really wanted a trailing plant here. So this is what I've been busying myself with for the past couple of days. Anyways, it's time to work on chapter 3, my July submission, so let's get started on that. I'm so tired, it's not even funny. Like, I had 2 cups of coffee today, which I'm trying to avoid for the most part, and one of them was half cup, so technically it's 1.5 cups, but still, I feel like I cannot drink any more coffee today, but I did not have a good night's sleep. So I'm very tired and it's really hard to focus, but I have to. So, yeah. Okay. You know what I think? We're gonna do a timer, because with the timer it's gonna help me know you know, I only have so much time, which is true. I only do have so much time. 40 minutes. How about 40 minutes? 39, which is even better. 39 minutes. So I decided to take a little bit of a shortcut with my July submission, and I looked at my third chapter, which was done halfway through basically, but there was a natural break in the chapter, you know, when you break the chapter to signify that the scene has ended and there's no logical connection to the next scene. There's no in between. You just like cut in there and starting at a completely new location with a new scene. And so I had this break in there, and actually this break always read to me like a good chapter ending, possibly. It's super short with it, right? So the chapter will need more polishing and maybe more substance to it to break it there and feel like the chapter has still fulfilled its purpose. Of course, my battery dies right as I was filming the little closing clip for you guys. Basically, I was talking about how one of the feedback comments that I received about the chapter I'm currently working on and the following chapter was that it felt long to one of the readers, even though technically it's the same length as the other chapters, the previous chapters, which did not feel long to them, felt just right. So this could be a way to kind of mitigate that, especially since with this point of view, I'm not doing a strict like alternating chapters. I'm doing sometimes a couple of chapters in a row from the same person, so I can continue and maybe cut back on the in-between kind of scenes, or I can cut back on the character kind of internalizing and thinking about what to do, and then maybe merge chapter 3 and 4, like the rest of chapter 3 and chapter 4 in what now will be chapter 4. So that's an option. This will also give me, this will be an easy submission for my group because it's just like 4 pages. It will also give me a chance to polish it a little bit more and see if I can do something new with this short chapter. Like, I don't know, introduce more interiority in an interesting way, or flesh out the setting a little bit more. With the setting, again, the feedback was just so contradictory because some people said they can really visualize the setting and like they could understand everything and followed where things were, and some people said they had trouble visualizing like where things were happening. And I feel like the visual aspect is one of my weaker aspects of writing because I'm always so interested in what people are saying and what people are doing, as opposed to, which is so bizarre because I love reading setting. I love cozy and whimsical descriptions, and like there are books where it's all about the setting. Like Harry Potter is all about the setting. Like everybody wants to go to Hogwarts, everybody wants to go to whatever, the village. And like even the houses, like Ron's house, you know, they're special and I love them as a reader, but as a writer, for some reason, I'm shying away from them, or I don't care that much. And I need to care to make it like well-rounded. So maybe I can work on the setting a little bit more. Maybe I can reframe this chapter a little bit more as I polish it. But I think I'm gonna make this chapter short and see if it works in restructuring, in further restructuring of the story. If it doesn't work, I can revert back and like make it the original length, or rather the original like collection of scenes as it was before. But it might just work in this new way. It might just work being short and sweet. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being lazy because I don't want to be working on the entire 9 pages today, and I just don't have time to do anything more with it before my trip. So yeah, I think I'll try to like find the time in the morning over the next few days to polish it so that it's still like completely ready by the time I return from my trip. But I think I will be submitting the shorter version, and that's just how it is. And if people say it doesn't work and it feels like it's too short and not enough happens, then that's feedback too, and that's going to be helpful. But for now, that is it for today's vlog. Thank you guys so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.